to me, it's a big aspect of tonight and how it's all going to shake out.
Man, this is taking over our show. I kind of love it.
I mean, it's a big day, dude.
It's a massive day.
This is a consequential day in Blazer history.
You stay at 10 or go to 11. Like, I don't know how they're going to sell that, but they're going to sell it to you as if they're getting the All-Star.
If your 3% chance hits, the next 10 years of your organization have changed and you're landing Cooper Flag, right? We have had 3 consecutive top 7 picks, 3 in a row. Now, we got a chance, if we jump into the top 4 tonight, to have 4 consecutive top 7 picks. Maybe we end up 10 through 12. We'll see.
Yeah.
You have taken Donovan Clingan, Scoot Henderson, and Shaden Sharp.
Yes, correct.
The organization will tell you the superstar might be on the roster. We don't need to have a top 4 pick because we might already have our superstar. I'm just genuinely asking, like, look, the revisionist history it's easy for people to poke holes in, but it's also what you do. Like, you brought up the Thompson brother earlier in the show. He was the 4th overall pick directly behind Scoot Henderson, and he is off to a phenomenal start in his career. Not that Scoot's book has been written and we know who he's going to be in the NBA, but there is a bit of buyer's remorse there, I think, of a wing who maybe Houston is going to build their team around 3 years or 2 years into his career, as opposed to a guard who can't even crack the starting lineup at this point going into year 3. Not all of that is his fault. We refused to trade Anthony Simons. How do we feel about this organization's ability to evaluate talent and draft players depending on where they end up tonight in the lottery?
I think the tough part with that question is everybody would answer that and say, great. They feel great about it.
And that's my follow-up is why? Why do we feel great about that?
Because they got Denny Avdia in that trade, and did you know his contract goes down over years?
Sure, but he wasn't a draft pick. They traded capital to go get him.
You asked see, that's where that question will get you in trouble if you're looking for draft specific. If you just say talent evaluation, I will point to Tumani Kamara and I will point to Denny Avdia. The rest of it, man, I don't know if I'm exactly with Gundy, but I don't think you can have any conclusion one way or the other on Clingan after year 1.
Sure.
I think there were some real positives. I think there were moments where you went, are you a 6-point, 11 rebound, maybe a block and a half per night guy who plays 29 minutes? I don't know if that realistically gets you in the title conversation. And the other two, it's like, good luck. If you want to say he's baby Kobe and he'll take that step, God bless you. If you don't buy it, can't blame you. Scoot, I don't know how anybody has some grand opinion on Scoot Henderson. You can say, I liked what I saw. And I can also say, and I have stuff that I didn't like that I saw. So I don't think the shooting, look, the numbers say he improved. You still don't feel great about it, do you? Like when he goes to shoot a 3, are you sitting there going, bang?
You don't feel like right now you have a guy who you would have hoped the 3rd overall pick would be.
No, so
doesn't mean his career is done or he can't be a good player, but what your expectations are mentally for the 3rd overall pick, you don't feel like you have that right now.
Chris Murray, I mean, you can't really tout that. So that was in the Scoot draft. That was in the first round.
And Ryan Rupert was also in that draft.
I don't even think he could play at this. I'm like, I don't have a lot of hope for Ryan Rupert. People love to hold on to that, but I think if you say draft, a little shaky. If you say talent evaluation, well, then Tumani and Denny get thrown into it,
sure,
and people get to say, I feel good about it.
Yeah. I mean, you also throw Jeremy Grant into that. You throw DeAndre Ayton into that.
Yeah, the only problem with that is I can't throw them into it because those were already established talents. Like, I already knew Jeremy Grant was a good role guy. Now, what was he going to be in the Portland thing? I don't know. DeAndre Ayton helped lead a team to a finals. He was a centerpiece of a finals team. I know he can play basketball. You're not getting credit for that. Those were defined players already.
Yeah.
I'm going by the young players we didn't know much about. Nobody watched any Avdia in Washington.
No.
Nobody knew who Tumani Kamara was and even how to say his name when they first got him. And then the other 3 were all draft picks, as you mentioned, in the top 7. One, I don't think proved if he's going to be elite, good, okay, or bad yet. The other one, you're unsure of, and the other one you're unsure of. So, of the 3 picks in the top 7, to answer your question, because if you do talent, that's what'll happen. Draft-wise, I'm kind of shrugging my shoulders. I don't really know.
Yeah,
which is a little disturbing.
Right, and that's the reason I wanted to bring it up. I don't think they've whiffed on every move that they've made as an organization. That's clearly not the case. They've had some very successful moves that have taken place and guys that they've picked up that they feel like can be key contributors. But tonight is mainly centered around the draft. And I feel like there's this narrative out there, primarily because Mike Schmitz is here, and he was on ESPN for so long. We used to have him on the show. Like, he's a known draft guy. He's a known figure in that world, that there's just like a base level of trust that goes with them drafting, and
It's his pick.
I just am wondering, like, where does that come from? And I have no clue.
His resume.
Sure, but what's his resume drafting? His resume drafting is two guys who we're completely not sure of and a guy who we're not judging yet because he's only been in the league for 1 year and played 13 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Shaden Sharp has not shown you that he has the ability to be a guy that you can build a team around. And Scoot Henderson is still playing off the bench, and you're not quite sure what his long-term fit is in the NBA. So there's this blanket level of trust that gets put on the organization and their ability to draft. That's the reason I'm asking the question. I genuinely don't know why that is, outside if he worked at ESPN and we heard him talk about draft prospects for a long time. Because so far, that has not come to fruition. Now, maybe this is the year Shaden takes a big step. Maybe they finally trade Anthony Simons like they should have done 2 years ago, and Scoot Henderson becomes a starting point guard, and he's the most improved player in the NBA next year. I don't know what next year is going to hold.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as the sample size of actual picks that we have, this organization, this front office's picks are Shaden Sharp, Jabari Walker, Scoot Henderson, Chris Murray, Ryan Rupert, and Donovan Clingan. They had some other picks that they traded away for other parts. Bub Carrington, for example, last year was a part of the Washington pick. He was a 14th overall pick in the draft. So they've had other guys that they've traded. That's their haul of draft picks 3 years in.
Yeah, and I don't know how you can, with a straight face, act like it's been slam dunk picks.
I'm not saying they're all failures. I'm not giving them an F.
No,
I don't
certainly.
have this sense of confidence of, I trust the organization to do the right thing.
I guess what I would ask, though, is how confident are you in the top-end talent of the draft? So if they get into the top four, which is
top four,
the best-case scenario, right?
Yes.
Right now on almost every mock, it's Edgecombe, Bailey, Harper, Flag.
Yes.
Let's say you get to the second spot.
Number 2 overall pick. So your choice of everybody sans Cooper Flag.
Which, by everybody's estimation, I don't know if I've seen a mock that hasn't had Dylan Harper at the second pick.
Yes, I agree with you there.
And I don't know how or why, but a real narrative exists here locally that Harper and Bailey played at Rutgers, and Rutgers wasn't good, so...
Why would we take him?
And I'm like, really? 2 freshmen?
Yeah, 6'10". Yeah. Bailey's 6'10". He's 210. I mean, he's massive body. Dylan Harper's a 6'6" point guard.
It's a wildly awful take.
Yes.
I'll just say that right now. That's a very bad take. If your takeaway is they played at Rutgers together, they didn't win. Okay.
All right.
They're freshmen. Please pinpoint me 2
Swap
freshmen.
Dylan Harper with Con Knipple. You think Duke isn't going as far as they go in the tournament?
Well, but are they going to take the obvious pick that everybody says is going to go to, and then I don't know what you do with Scoot. I don't even know how you make that work.
Yeah.
You're going to probably tell us that it can work. They can coexist the way you did when we drafted Scoot, and you said Dame can coexist with him. And then we fast forward 4 months later, and Dame's been traded.
Yeah, he's gone.
Because I don't know if you want Scoot around if you're taking Harper.
Yeah.
How is that good for development? How is that where his confidence is? I can't imagine he'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
And then do you take Ace Bailey? Right? Do you take Bailey at 2 if you jump into 2? And then I don't even know what you do at 4. Because Edgecombe's playing Shaden's position.
Yes,
He's
he
the
is.
Same size as him.
6'5", 6'6" wing.
And every other mock behind him is a center and then 2 guards.
Yeah.
Con Knipple's one of those.
Yep.
So I just, Con can play the 3, 6'7", but it's fascinating, man. I'm so interested on if the lottery gods reward him. Do they stay at 10? Who do they even like at 10? Like, are you looking at Asa Newell at Georgia, who is a freshman? He's 19. He's 6'10". I don't know what to make of his game. I like the kid at Illinois. He's kind of a combo package. He's, 6'6"?
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of fascinating stuff here that if you don't get Flag, where do you go? And then what's the fallout from where you go?
Yeah, and how does it all shake out? Tonight at 4, we will find out where Portland is drafting.